You're watching the Tesla Live with your host, Mark Coughlin.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tesla Live number 374. What are we, the 28th of August, 2024? Right. And again, summer is slipping fast. So get out there and enjoy it after the show. But
or if you're using the new YouTube podcast feature, take us with you.
Ooh.
It's not that new, but they revamped it and they gave us access. So if you go into the YouTube podcast features, you'll find us there. For instance, everybody just got an update to their car, and there's a YouTube Music app. So now you don't have to go into a separate app or pick up your phone. We're just right there on the dashboard.
There you go. There you go. Hello to Derek, Lee Moon, and Digital Blade, all joining us in the chat room early. Yeah. But first, we've got our co-host, Mr. Casey Green, joining us from the Mid-Atlantic. How are you today, sir?
There's a lot going on.
Yes. It's been a busy day for Casey. So that's good. That's good. So Casey's just out of breath, and we'll just leave him sit with that. That's okay. That's all right. Also with us, as per usual, Mr. Patrick Connor from the West Coast. How are you today, sir?
I'm great. Hello, Tesla Nation. I'm glad you're here hanging out with us. This should be a fun time.
Absolutely. We got news of the week, as we do every week. It never stops. Casey's going to lead us off with the first story. What do you got?
Yes. So, first up, got a little entertainment from space. Well, Tesla only ever shipped one, possibly two cars with the XM radio for those people who enjoy that. And my first Tesla missed it because I didn't have premium sound, because I fell for the hype that, premium sound's not all that. You're not going to miss it, blah, blah, blah. They're wrong. If you have the opportunity to get premium sound or not get premium sound, get the premium sound. Tesla premium sound is great. And yes, the other one is fine until you get into a friend's car who has any version of their upgraded sound. And then you will be kicking yourself. So, in the S with the sunroof, and then later on with the glass roof, after the sunroof was canceled, you could get an XM tuner on the Model S. Every Model X, unless you get one somehow that didn't have the premium sound system, came with an XM tuner. I immediately went into mine, and when they gave us the option for sources, I immediately went into mine, which was years after I got the car. Opened it up, went to sources, XM, off. But now, we're looking at XM over the internet. And so XM is something that you're into, coming soon to a car near you.
Right. So the S's and X's still have the satellite radio receiver, right? So that it doesn't have to just be streaming.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be streaming for the older S's and X's, and probably the Palladiums as well. But
oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was all current S's and X's, but
I've just said I haven't checked for that particular feature on new S and X. So I don't want to steer anybody wrong, and then they get mad and say, "Hey."
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you may or may not, if you have an S or X, check into it.
But if it's an older one, and like I said, you got the premium sound on an X, or various versions of the all glass roof on Model S, then yes, it will have the antenna, and you don't need to worry about streaming over the internet. So the other thing with this is you'll probably need the premium connectivity option, either through some sort of bundle or permanently on your car or with a monthly subscription, to actually use this over the air. But that means if you have a Model 3, Model Y, my Model S, if it had the MCU upgrade, you could then tune in and get your SiriusXM fix.
Right. So it's cool that they're adding this as a streaming platform as well. So if you don't have the radio receiver, you still have another option to get it. You might need premium connectivity for that. But if you're into SiriusXM and that's your preferred, entertainment of choice, and especially if you're someone who drives a lot, then it's nice to have the option.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pick it.
For this.
I said I wouldn't pick it based on the price, but
Right,
yeah, I don't drive that much, so it's certainly not worth it for me. I just stream stuff from my phone.
Say
But
you have it on just one car, like your spouse, your kid, or whoever loves this stuff, and you buy, log in on the app, because right now they don't really. Oh, you're listening in the car. We got to turn off your streaming. No, sorry. And you get it 2 places now for the price of 1. That may be violating your use agreement. I don't care.
I don't know. They usually allow multiple devices.
Usually
I would
they
have
do.
to check the fine
Yeah.
print, but
Yeah.
yeah, not legal advice.
Not
But
legal advice.
if it's allowed, why not do it that way? I mean, why would you want to pay for it multiple times?
Right.
You can only listen. You can listen once. I guess you have 2 ears, but you don't want to pay twice.
Right. Well, they would only be able to, if they do limitations. Their system is only set up to stop you from multiple streamings.
Right.
Their tech isn't new enough to handle, other than if you paid or not, to turn the car off just because you're listening elsewhere.
And of course, if you were one of those lucky people that bought Sirius at the beginning and paid the one-time fee for unlimited use forever,
oh man, I would love that.
You would really be lucking out by getting your 2024 car today getting access to this on the streaming feature. So that will be very cool for some.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, the business has got to make money, so I'm sure they figured out some way to say, "Oh, that lifetime membership you have is for only the direct satellite stuff. It didn't apply to streaming." I mean, who knows? I don't know. But I wouldn't. Yeah, they've always got some slimy lawyer that's going to help them find some way to wiggle out of that stuff.
My parents are the ones that go, "Hey, thank you for supporting us in the beginning when we were almost out of business. We've added these new features. Enjoy." Those are my favorites.
I hope it's that way. It might be.
Yeah, but there's more of like the ones Patrick described. Oh yeah, sorry, no, yeah, you don't actually get these new things. You get what we promised you. And Lee Moon confirmed to us that the yearly deal is now, was it 10 months? Get 2 free. $8.25 is what it came out to be per month. He said, so you don't have to pay the full $10 if you pay yearly.
Yeah, get a little bit of a discount.
Yeah, when they first offered yearly, they didn't give a discount, and we were humbugging about that, and I guess they fixed it.
Very good. So if you've been waiting for XM Sirius Radio, it's there. So with the update, you'll be able to stream it through your app, and it'll be native, kind of like Apple Music is on the car, and other services as well. So it looks like Tesla's just going through different ones that make sense to them to bring on board for popularity, and that's just going to solidify their audience to stick with a car that is constantly evolving and bringing on new pieces to the party that you can enjoy. Like I can see that. Not, you've got all these different services, Tidal, Apple, you've got Sirius now, you've got all these different services. Most people obviously have a single service, and that's it. And of course, you're not going to be sharing multiple services in most cases, unless you really enjoy a couple of services. But this is something where Tesla's just continually adding software bits to its car to entice more and more people to be part of it. So I can definitely see that. Yeah. Patrick has left the room. I'm sure he will be back. There, he's back. That was quick.
Yes. So on this update, we didn't actually have a specific story for it today. It's gone wide. It's if you don't have it yet, don't freak out. It's getting there. If you have a Hardware 3 car and it's legacy, you're going to get the summer update. And if you have a legacy car with the MCU1, your summer update might include FSD version 12.3.6 if you're an FSD subscriber, assuming that your old car is new enough that it's got 8 cameras instead of 1 and 2. And if you are in FSD and you have a slightly newer car, then you have an option, not a choice to you, but randomly Tesla will give you either just the summer update or the new FSD version 12.5.x. And it comes with all these awesome features. The summer update for MC1 comes with different stuff. We talked about it already. Go back and take a look at that episode for the specifics.
Yeah.
It's because it's an older chip.
Yeah, and certainly your software is going to differ based on the car that you have and what computer stack you have in that car. That's the way it's going to be and will be going forward.
Right, and then unlike Model 3 versus Model X, which are the same computer, there actually is a reason for the discrepancy on the oldest MCU.
Yeah. Next, we're shuffling off to Buffalo. What's happening in Buffalo?
Well, we talked last week about some of the stuff that Tesla is kind of bound to do to get their renewal with the state of New York. However, we've got some record-setting coming out of Giga Buffalo again. So Giga Buffalo is now up to 8,000 CCS to NACs, or NACs adapters for supercharging of supercharging partner cars per week. 8,000. So now Ford will be able to clear up that backlog real quick. GM is apparently using another provider, and they had a recall, and basically it allowed you to pull the plug with the high voltage still going. So they repaired that and are building the stock back up. Rivian is using the Tesla adapter, and what we speculated on in the previous show was that since Nissan moved to the top of the list, showed up as coming soon, and they weren't there at all before, that Nissan might be getting these adapters as well from Giga Buffalo.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Is like where the shortfall was. We know that Ford was first given access to this, and they have a huge backlog of Ford owners that are waiting for these things.
That's right.
So it's not a surprise. But what is a surprise is that Tesla is the one that's been in charge of making these NACs adapters, and just hasn't been that many. And until this announcement, the amount was trickling low, and now they're saying we're going to be up to 8,000 per week. We're boosting production.
From the initial announcements about everybody joining up, they made it sound like somebody else was doing fulfillment, and even if Tesla was distributing, somebody else was doing them.
Right.
But this makes sense when you think about it. Every version 4 dispenser has a magic dock. And what is this adapter but a magic dock that doesn't have the special locking stuff? It's just a manual latch. So why not make it there?
Yeah. So Patrick's going to do our next story. He's not here, so we're going to hold on that one.
Sounds good to me.
And we will move to the next one. And this is about Tesla, the Tesla drone army spotting something. So I believe I can get a photo of this particular flyover that was caught.
So over in Berlin, we've got a little surprise. Some of you guys may have seen it over the weekend as it was traveling across Europe. However, it wasn't just one, it was two. And two of the Tesla semis showed up at Giga Berlin in US.
And as you can see, they didn't roll in themselves.
No.
Those things are on pallets.
Yeah, they didn't drive an inch. They loaded off the plane onto another truck and got chauffeured around.
That must have been an impressive forklift that moved that pallet.
Right.
Because that'd be heavy for sure. The size of it is not your normal 4x4 skid. This is much larger.
Right. I mean, even empty, it's going to weigh as much as your cab does. And then it's got 900 kilowatt hours of battery. We don't know if that's usable or gross. So nigh on a megawatt hour of batteries.
I like that it caught a group of employees kind of standing around looking at the front of these trucks just beyond the fence, the temporary fence line.
Yes.
Just hanging out, looking. Oh yeah, look at that, brand new to us.
So
never seen in person in Europe yet. So
yeah, they haven't. So there's a couple of speculations as to what this thing is doing here. First up, there's a show next week. There's a show going on, industry show, and why not bring TeslaSemi there? And then when it was just one, this was like, nah, the one is going to the show. But with two of them, now they can get hands-on work with the European homologation compliance to make sure that it is legal to sell, drive, and operate in the EU.
Exactly.
And that's not saying that is what they're doing. That's speculation that it's going to show up at the show and that they're working on it. It could just be there for them to look at, but that's
they could be taking one to the show and they could be tearing down the other to talk about how they could maybe produce that in Germany, as Elon has mentioned.
Right.
They're going to try to see if they can sell it in Europe. So what better place to produce it than in the heart of Europe, in Germany? So
I wouldn't be surprised to see it show up at Shanghai too.
Yeah. Well, let's move to our next story. Patrick has got our next story, and it's about referring.
That's right. We'll see if I'm back. All right. Can you all hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. I don't know what's going on. I've got some process that wants to improve my audio experience every once in a while, and it just ends up turning it off.
It turns it off.
It depends on what I'm listening to, whether or not that's an improvement. Okay, so this comes to us from teslarati.com. Tesla launches new referral program, $1,000 off for 10 referral buyers. So they get $1,000 off of their car, or actually, does this apply to the Cybertruck? I don't want to just say car if it could be. It does not. Okay, so yeah, so model SX3 or Y right now is what it applies to. They get $1,000 off, and you get $500 that you can use in Tesla bucks for supercharging, products, merchandise, service appointments, or a new vehicle.
Yeah.
So in the past, it was points, and they were only good for the lifestyle products, and so now you can expand it and use it for more things. So that's cool. And having a limit of 10 is a great idea, because the old programs were just dominated by the popular YouTubers. And having it be something reasonable like this, a $500 for the referrer, is going to prevent people from taking out ads and doing crazy things. Some people were buying billboards and online ads and all this stuff to just get people to click on the referral
and all
link.
of that was against the programs. If you ever got caught doing that, you got black.
Right. Yes. Although I don't know how strictly it was enforced. Just like you were saying, Casey, if you can get away with something, some people are going to try it.
Well, one popular YouTuber likes to be on top of his Model 3. He did it before it was against the rules, and then they fixed it. Everybody saw his videos and success and tried to copy it. And if they got caught, they got burned. But a lot of people didn't get caught. So it was a lot of people.
Yeah. So the nice thing about this, you can refer up to 10 people, and so that would be $5,000, and you can use that towards a new vehicle or a high power wall charger or whatever it is that you need, even just service. Or I wonder if this would apply to something like premium connectivity. Yeah. We were just talking about how you might need that for the new streaming feature. So if you could pay for it that way, that's looking more attractive.
Absolutely, and it would make a lot of sense. Or if you're going to do some traveling, maybe get some supercharger miles. And it's again, you can. It seems to be more versatile this way. Although I did notice in the previous referral programs, it seemed that Tesla would add things to the prizes, over time. So. This may happen here. We may get Thor's hammer in the future again, version 2. Who knows? But there are things that Tesla periodically adds to their online store, and those will probably be part of this program as well, since it's basically a dollar for dollar type setup.
And they retained a secrets or off menu feature from the previous versions of these programs, and kept it in this time. They called it loyalty, which is something we've been saying. Hey, you keep buying these cars, respect it. Do something. Put some respect on my name. So now they call it loyalty, and you can refer yourself. You've always been able to do this. You can refer yourself, and you get the $1,000 off. That's it. So you'll get the $500 bonus. So I
thought that with this new referral program, I'm not seeing this in the article, but some other thing I saw about it, they were talking about how it had to be a new Tesla customer. So if it's already someone who's an existing Tesla customer, you could not use that.
So that would explain why they named it loyalty now. Because if you refer an existing customer, they don't want to give out the extra $500. That makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have your own already, just use your own code.
Exactly. Yes.
There's something new with this though. Unlike before, where it was unlimited, even if there were later versions right before they canceled it, where the referrer was limited, but not the code. Now, if I thought this was, they didn't have to do this, and I like the way they did it. Once you hit your 10 people, your code, instead of saying, "Hey, Mark or Casey or Patrick just gave you $1,000 off your new Tesla," it says, "Oh, Mark's out of money." It doesn't say like that. But it says Mark's used up all his gifts. Sorry. And then at that point, you can they'll still let you buy the car. Word of advice: if you wanted to do that, and right now Mark's goes on screen, and it says that Mark's out of money, find somebody else and say, hey, Casey, Patrick, it said that Mark was out of money. Can I get $1,000 off my car? Sure.
Yeah. So if you see that change to Casey's code, you'll know it's because Mark hit his 10. So let's get it there. Let's do
it.
That would be nice, but certainly it's a plus. Get $1,000 off your car, and that would be motivation enough. Absolutely. Next, let's move along.
Oh, wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Stacks. So if you're a veteran, or if you have any of the state programs, or if you're doing any of the Tesla bundles, all that stuff at the moment for this quarter stacks. So 1,000 is on top of. Whereas some previous versions of the program, if they were running a special, they would be like, "Oh, you can't get that. You can get one or the other, and you had to pick." That is not happening this quarter, thankfully.
Yeah, that was the case when I could have transferred either my supercharging for life or the FSD, and since I've said before, I don't drive a whole lot. FSD was way more valuable to me than the supercharging.
Yeah, you drive every week, but you don't supercharge almost ever.
Exactly. Right. Yes. I've had the Y for over a year and supercharged it once only because Mark said, "Hey, go see this new V4. Check it out." I'm like, all right.
Did you use any juice, or did you just plug it in?
Oh yeah, I did. I used it, but yeah.
I know we talked before. One of them went online. Yeah.
So a moment ago, we shuffled off to Buffalo. Next, we're moving all the way across country, and Patrick's going to tell us about something happening in Vegas.
Oh, that's right. Yes. So there's a rumor. There's a rumor about the Boring Company. And I call it a rumor because it says here that one person from a local tourist organization has said that Tesla will soon be using driver assist features in the tunnel, in the Boring tunnels. So this was posted in the Las Vegas Review Journal. So, I mean, I hope they do due diligence and actually source it for more than one person before publishing it.
Yes.
But that's the gist of it, is that they're going to start doing things toward the up to at some point. We all know at some point the cars will not have a driver. Eventually, they're going to be robotaxis, and they'll even remove the pedals in the steering wheel. And again, but there's incremental steps to get there. So there have actually been some ridiculous restrictions put on the Boring Company that disallowed them legally from using any of these features underground because there was a concern that it could cause crashes. Well, you know what causes crashes? It's human drivers. Without automation and things to double check them. So it was a ridiculous restriction, and it looks like it's finally being lifted, and that Tesla will start being able to test some of these things out in the Boring tunnels. And one of the things here's the dilemma. The Boring tunnels are a great place to do automation because it's a controlled environment. If they want to have remote monitoring, they can make sure that every place in the tunnel is covered by good 5G or whatever they need to get that connectivity. And they can they'll have people on site, staff that can go and take care of whatever issues. So from that perspective, because they control the entire environment, it's a perfect place to have FSD. However, it would take, I don't know, however long. Let's say it took 3 months for them to do this, although that's, crazy optimistic. But even if it was that small, that's 3 months they're not working on getting FSD working on the road for the rest of everybody else. And that's where the real market is. So it's not going to be a priority for them. So anyway, it's weird that it's easy, but a distraction.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way of putting it, because that would mean that, they're going to have a different team of engineers, or the same engineers that are working on a different problem, as opposed to the group that's currently working on FSD in the wide release.
Exactly.
But but I don't know. I know on this show specifically, many times we've all questioned, why on earth is it taking so long for them to start running FSD in the tunnels? We thought it would be the easiest way to do it, because of Patrick mentioning they control the entire environment. There's less things that can come at you. There's less options. It would make sense, but they didn't do it that way. They went for the bigger prize, and are continuing to work on that. So that's kind of interesting. They did say that they hope to have it running by the end of this year. And one of the people quoted in this was from the Las Vegas Convention Center. So, of course, the first group that set up the tunnels. So it will be interesting to see if they're correct. Tesla nor the Boring Company commented on this story at all. It was strictly a third party. Again, someone from the Las Vegas Convention Center is the one that provided this information to the news organization. So as we most often hear when Tesla is pretty tight-lipped about their PR department, because, of course, one, it doesn't exist. There is no PR department. And two, you're not going to get a comment from anybody because they don't want to lose their job. They just want to do their work and be happy, and not threaten themselves with releasing some information that maybe shouldn't be released.
That's right. So, to Patrick's point, to better picture what's going on here with how it could be a distraction, even though it's easy and small and a controlled environment, small project, look at what it's taken with FSD 12.5 to get onto hardware 3.
Right.
At 10 days.
Yep.
And that's with the software trying to put it back on the program it was running on in the first place. Because remember, it was running in hardware 3, and then hardware 4 was running, or AI4. Now it was running in emulation mode for hardware 3. And then they had trouble putting it back in the file. So now imagine they had to do that effort, but with training and practice and tests, rather than just, hey, it's running, go make sure it still works the same way.
Right. Yeah. The good thing is the Boring Company model should be a lot smaller. Instead of, I doubt they would integrate it into the same model. They would have a special model just for that.
Would they even bother? They could do regular FSD if it's general purpose enough, and then just add controls on top. When you see this, stop. When you hit the go button on this tablet, car number 7 can go. Stuff like that.
Yeah, they might do it that way. That way they could take advantage of all the miles they already have. But it would also have so many things like, okay, here's how you handle a weird intersection in Seattle and Boston and San Francisco that it'll never see.
They'll never use them
down there. Yeah.
But if a chicken ends up in the tunnel, they'll know what to do with the chicken. I've seen this before.
Right.
I've never seen it.
Exactly. Yeah. After a quadzillion miles underground, it encounters the chicken and knows what to do.
Yeah. The goose says, honk.
Oh, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Next, I want to talk a little bit about Sentry Mode, which has not been in the news all that much. But this story from Teslarati was kind of interesting. I wanted to touch upon was that we all know that when Sentry Mode is on, it's using the cameras to record what's happening around the car. And of course, it sends the owner's alerts based on what it sees happening or feels happening, if the car's being shaken or punched or other things. But what happened here was that back in January, a man met with a potential buyer of a computer system. They were talking about selling a computer system, and the person that was considering buying it decided he was going to do more than consider. He was going to steal the computer system and take off at the place of the transaction. What he was unaware of course, was that the owner of the computer system's car was recording the altercation in Sentry Mode, and was able to get a photograph and video of the theft in progress. With that information, he was able to go to the police. They also got it posted on the local news station in Lexington, Kentucky. WKYT did a story on it, and the person that stole the computer system was identified from that news broadcast, and the police were able to put a warrant out for his arrest. It turns out that this gentleman was a bit of a career criminal because he was wanted some other actions that had happened, and there was some missed court dates, disorderly conduct, local ordinance violations, resisting arrest, a failure to appear. So this guy was, batting 1,000 when it came to law enforcement. And
don't forget the fentanyl. 25
Why not?
fentanyl tablets as well. I mean, real winner here.
Like
Making
this was a
choices.
laundry list of offenses that was following
allegedly
this guy around. Allegedly. And of course, with him being identified with the Tesla cam, his photo was put out there, got his name, and they hunted him down and put him in the slammer to face these charges and miss court dates to get this shored up and get the owner of the computer whole again with the return of the computer. So just again, Sentry Mode is such a game changer when it comes to being able to surveil what's going on around your car at any time. Even if you're not there, selling something on Craigslist, it is a bonus to be able to record some of this. Just this weekend, I happened to be watching another channel that I watch every once in a while, a Wham Bam Tesla Cam.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
The amount of stupidity that's out there for criminals is just amazing that Sentry Mode picks up. Another person came up to this particular Tesla, saw it was a Tesla, stopped, and then took 2 steps backward and put a mask on, and then take 2 steps
on
forward.
camera.
All on camera. And then they damaged the car by writing on each window with a glass cutter, ruining all the glass, meticulously going to the front, to the side, to all windows. And of course, since that person was filmed without the mask on and we saw them put the mask on, they've got all these great photos that they're now publicizing to find this person. But that's something that other vehicles just don't come standard with, and it's a big plus. And certainly, if you're in a neighborhood that's unsavory, if you've got your car in an area that hoodlums want to mess with your car, at least you've got that little bit of saving grace that you could possibly get some evidence about what happened and who did it. And that's a big plus, and something that I'm thankful my car comes standard with at all times.
They added to your car. Your car didn't come with jack.
That's true. That was just an update. When I got my car, it was a software update. So,
yes. So basically, if my car is not parked under another camera already, then I have Sentry Mode turned on. And sometimes, even if it is under another camera.
Right. Yeah, this is a cool feature, and it's funny they took 2 steps back. Okay, so they realized that the car has the ability to see them, but apparently they don't realize if you can see the car, it can probably see you. 2 steps, that's all you need. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I was more than 2 meters away, therefore I'm safe. That's not how it works. Do you know how cameras work?
Well, that to be fair, that's probably how they work on other cars. Like once you're out of the zone, they don't care, even if they could.
Might, yeah. That's how sonar sensors work, sure, but not cameras.
Right.
Depending on how many K you've got on the video, they can zoom. So it's you know, 2 steps ain't going to help you if you've got a 4K or 2K camera that can zoom. So
that was one thing they did with the new hardware AI 4. They put in the higher res cameras.
That's right. Yeah. So now all the vehicles that are being produced have basically, what is it, a quadrupling of pixels?
They went from like HD, which was 720p, not 1080p, to 5 megapixels, which is what 4x that, right?
Yeah. So that's quite an
increase. Over 1080.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's move on to our favorite materials recovery operation. Casey, I'm going to ask you to possibly block any sound that comes from the following video. But Redwood Materials is releasing some information about their
Oh, you got the wrong one?
Yeah, let me see if I can share it.
I turned off the microphone and then went to go put it on the big screen. It was gone. And then after we get done with this, I want to go back to the semi in Giga Shanghai, or Giga Berlin. I made some observations to this YouTube thumbnail.
Well, that's kind of strange. I'm not seeing the window that I've got up. Maybe I have to click on it. Let me try this again. There we go.
Okay, you got it?
Got it.
There we go. Share the screen. Squad.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Tesla Semi-Factory?
No, that is not.
Is it an expansion of something?
Are you saving it?
Oh, wait, we're Redwood. Sorry, we're Redwood.
Yeah, I don't know if Mark wants to do a big reveal or I didn't want to say it.
Look at that. There's JD.
Yep. One of Tesla's founders and current board member. Now the CEO of Redwood Materials.
Mm-hmm.
And this is their new facility. That was the final beam going in. They had everybody there to sign the final beam.
That's right. So the topping ceremony happened. So they reached their ultimate height, which you could see was, over 3 stories. It was 3 stories according to the building, but obviously those floors are a lot larger than 10 feet in between.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Not your typical story. But this was so close to Gigafactory, Nevada, because of course Redwood has a contract with Tesla to produce this cathode material for Tesla. They're going to be at this particular location. It's just it's a pilot program to start. But if everything goes fine, then of course they'll be ramping up the size of this plant and its output production as well to supply at some point 1.3 million vehicles worth of material over to Tesla per year. So we've talked many times about Redwood and of course their owner. G.D. Straubel, who, of course, left Tesla some time ago to go start up this recycling group, and a group that not only recycles, but, of course, is taking the recycled materials and then repackaging it, freshening it up, and sending it to other companies for use as new material. And that, of course, is the cycle of ultimately what you want to do with recycling is take an old product, freshen it up, send it out to be used again as new product. And
Exactly.
that
which is why their symbol is the O's in Redwood it's a closed loop. So that's where we need to get to is a closed loop.
And again, we've been talking about Redwood many times about their different parcels of land and facilities across the country. Colorado is where they began to lay down their first facility. But after that, they've been sprouting up in different areas based on the contracts that they have. In the videos that they've released, they're not only partnering with Tesla, but they're actually selling to Ford and others as well. So, and of course, as we've mentioned in previous videos, the batteries that they're taking in to do the refreshing of the minerals are coming from all different sectors, even right down to cell phone batteries. So this is a company that's looking at where is all the material currently. We know that batteries from cars it's a little bit hard to get now because, of course, cars are still in the cycle that those batteries are working for the transportation of those first generation of cars. But they're looking at wherever the batteries can be found and whatever devices have batteries that we can start, moving the process forward, start collecting, start refreshing, start selling, getting markets developed, getting customers lined up. And this is a big move for them to actually create another facility right beside Giga Nevada to help supply them. And what a great turnaround too! Like you're just on the same road basically that one of your major clients is sitting on.
That is pretty cool, and this is especially important because whenever you hear us talking about various battery chemistries, that's almost always about the cathode. So the cathode is composed of metal oxides. And so when you think about lithium-ion batteries, that could be lithium cobalt oxide or lithium magnesium oxide or lithium iron phosphate, lithium nickel magnesium cobalt oxide. So those are the materials that they're getting. And those go directly into the cathode. When you charge the battery up, those ions move over to the anode side. Then when you discharge, they go back where they started, where they're happiest, where they want to be, and that's how batteries work.
Exactly. I remember when Redwood started up, we saw that first facility in Colorado area at the somewhere in Colorado. I imagine the outskirts of Denver. But what amazed me was the hundreds of bags of these raw minerals that they had amassed. Just basically sitting out in the sun, as because there's no need to specially treat used batteries. They just kept them outside. They just kept them outside in this particular case until they were used. But just the hundreds of bags kind of reminded me of those bags that you see for a soil company that drops it off in front of your house, like those huge 4x4 bags, and they were just littered all over in nice even rows at this facility. So this is great to see. I'm glad that this recycler is now starting to move with this and increase in volume. There are a couple of others that we've got one up here in Canada as well that is starting to sell these products. They're taking in every battery they can get, refining it, and reselling it. So this closed loop system is what's going to really help the whole EV industry. When people tell you, oh, EVs are so bad because the minerals are costing the earth a fortune because you have to mine them all. Well, eventually the mining will stop, and what you'll be doing is you'll just be recovering what you previously mined, refreshing it, and putting them back inside a new battery case.
Yeah, the cool thing about that is in a lot of situations, like with plastics, it's downcycled. And so there's a lot of uses where you don't want to use recycled stuff. Here's the exact opposite. Once this is recycled, It's refined a second time. It's higher purity. It gives you better batteries. And not only that, say they're 5 or 10 years old when they get recycled. Well, they had a certain energy density back then, and now that's improved multiple times, multiple years worth. So the same materials can actually go into significantly more than they were in their original purpose. So this is exactly the right treadmill to be on, where things are getting better. We're getting better materials. We're mining fewer and using more recycled. That's where we want to be.
Exactly. And just in my neck of the woods, I'm noticing an uptick in, as we all are, in the number of EVs that are on the road. Not just Teslas, but all EVs. And just in my region, there's more and more EVs on the road. I'm noticing them all the time. And of course, in 10, 15, 20 years, all those battery packs are going to be recycled. And companies like Redwood and others are going to have a huge amount of batteries to be able to be refreshed and sent off again for inclusion in brand new batteries. So this is the beginning of it, and glad to see that we're progressing in that direction.
Absolutely. Love it.
And with that, I think we will wrap tonight's show.
We're going to show the semi-truck. So,
what's that?
I was going to show the semi-truck real quick.
Go right ahead. We got some time.
Look at this. This is something I was noticing here, is that folks were saying, why aren't the batteries in the frame rails like everybody else's truck? Look at the depth of the cab over truck here and the Tesla semi-truck. The back walls are nearly identical, right? We see the
oh, right.
Didn't want to do that.
That's a different looking semi.
Yeah.
Go back.
Cargo bike.
So it's about the same depth as the European semi, and it's not that much longer. So they could probably swap out some of the, make the rails shorter and make it still fit within what they are used to over there, because they're e-axles. The motors are on the axles. They're not. There's not a drive shaft you got to cut and worry about. So this won't be as difficult as it would be for the other American truck companies too.
Oh, definitely, because the hood length is completely different when it comes to Peterbilt or Western Star or Freightliner. They all got these long noses because, of course, people aesthetically like the look of them, and of course, it gives mechanics more room to work on the diesel motors if you've got a longer chassis up front. But
in Europe, they like the snub nose because there must be some tax or something that charges you.
There's a maximum length.
Maximum length for the cab and the trailer together.
Yeah. Whereas we do have that, but it's not as rigid. For us, it's more important about the length of the trailers. But there was a point where the total vehicle length becomes too much. It's like, hey, knock it off.
Right. When I've seen triple trailers going down the freeway, we don't care. Make it as long as you want.
Right.
The thing's practically a train.
That reminds me of Australia with their truck trains, where they have like 4 or 5 or 6 different trailers attached to the same tractor. But
wow.
Yeah. So that gives us a little more insight into, I was wondering why the low boy roof and the standard fairing were both detachable. But if you look at it, on this pallet, it's the same height as this other truck, but I guess off the pallet they could put the low boy on it and still not be exceeding the low clearances. You remove that panel instead of trying to put a sleeper in it. Remove that panel; it's just as deep as a cab over. You sit in the middle, and like I said, the length. Look at the green one to this white one's a little easier to compare the length than the one on the trailer that's on, and they're close. Lighting, length, testing.
It'll be interesting to see if there's any modifications that will be required to Tesla Semi to maybe make them seamless, that you could sell it in Europe or you could sell it in North America without any changes. It'd be interesting to see if they'll go that route, or maybe they will have a European model that shortens up something in order to make it more viable in Europe. And they'll have 2 versions. But either way, I'm sure a lot of the process of building them at the factory is going to be, it'll be on the same line to maximize efficiencies.
They'll have to have an elbow for sure.
That was one of the brilliant things about the center seating position. You don't have to make left-hand, right-hand drives.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
If you don't have to make a new cab, and literally you're just putting on shorter rails, or in this case, just putting on or not putting on the rear fairings if the trailer rides far enough up it. They are longer, but they might be able to get around that part.
Right.
Well, with that, I think we will go for a wrap on this particular show. We thank everyone for watching. If you haven't already, please give us a thumbs up on the video. Press that subscribe if you haven't. That would really help us out. We would appreciate that, being a small channel. And with that, Casey, what do you got for shout-outs for the good people out there?
Coming up in 2 days, you can catch us on Friday at the Tesla Life Express. And then on Sunday, catch us over at Let's Chat with Casey and Friends on youtube.com/Casey Green. And come back on Monday for this Life Express Part 2. And then we'll get you back here next week live. Same time, same place.
So you get your whole week planned out for you. So just mark it down. Exactly. Thank you so much, Casey. Patrick, what do you got for us?
Hello, everyone. So, as always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally about my future free from fossil fuels at carswithcords.net. And as promised last time, I've got my reports of my July electricity bill up there and how my power walls helped make me $250. Yeah.
And that was over how much of a time period?
That was just July. That's when they did all the VPP events.
Exactly.
Yes.
And of course, this year you had more VPP events than ever, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we haven't had any in August. I think there was maybe one at the beginning of the month, but it actually has cooled down a little bit here, strangely. But it's supposed to be hot again this weekend, so maybe there'll be another one coming up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
With that, I want to thank those in the chat room. Lee Moon, of course, we want to thank him for the music we use, as well as being in the chat room. We want to thank JT and Derek, and, of course, Digital Blade. And thanks so much for joining us. And for those who haven't chimed in and said hello in the chat room, shame on you. Next time, just say hello. Do something so you can chat with us. But with that, we'll get together next time and find out what's happening in the Tesla life.
Yeah. Check us out on YouTube podcasts, on YouTube Music app in your car.
Stay positive, test negative.